Hey guys, it's video number 2. I wanted to take a few moments to explain the bariatric process, the pre-op process to be more specific. This may be different from institute to institute, but this is what I had to go through and what I'm currently going through. So I thought it was pretty educational and I figured I'd outline it for you. The first thing that we had to do was go to a public seminar, and this was put on by our bariatric surgeon. It was very accessible to the public. They had dietitians and nursing staff and the surgeon himself and his physician assistant and even the psychiatrist. They had them all there to answer all your questions and to outline the process that I'm outlining for you right now. And they did a great job. It got you pumped up. It showed you videos of what the different procedures look like, and it gave you pros and cons to the different procedures. And just, did you see that moth? That was pretty freaky. Anyway, so it just kind of outlined everything really nicely. And one of the things I really liked, like I said, was that it was very accessible to the public. They hold them once a month. You don't have to sign up or pre-register. You just show up and sit down for a few hours and talk about the procedure. The second thing that I had to do was get insurance verification. I personally have Blue Cross Blue Shield. They require 6 months of documented weights. I never go to the doctor unless I'm going for my yearly physical. So that was very disappointing for me to find out that I'm ready for this procedure. It took me 1.5 years to even come to this decision that I wanted to go through with this gastric bypass. And now I have to wait an additional 6 months. But you know what? I'm glad I had to wait the 6 months. It gave me time to solidify my feelings towards this and prepare. In all honesty, it allowed me time to prepare. So as much as I was furious about that, I'm really glad it happened. So anyway, with my insurance, I had to have 6 months of consecutive documented weights with a physician. Going through that, it's almost all done. Got one more weigh-in, and then all set to go. So you have to make sure that your insurance covers bariatric surgery. Pretty basic. Otherwise, you're going to be paying out of pocket, and that's not something you want to do. But if you can do it, I applaud you. The next step is going to your education day. This takes about 4 hours, or it did for me at least. You sit down with nurses and PAs, physician assistants. That's what PA stands for anybody who wasn't aware of that. And they go through what procedure you're thinking about having. And they go through the different orders that they're going to write you. They're writing you orders for chest x-rays and an upper GI. And then lab work, and they're explaining why they need it and what they're going to do with those results. And then you also have a physical, a pretty detailed physical. They go through and they check all your lymph nodes and your bones, and they see if you have any pain anywhere, any complications, if you're diabetic. They check everything. They're very thorough. They have to be, which is a good thing. And then you also meet with a nutritionist that day. And they go through just some of the basic things that you're going to need for surgery and after surgery, which is pretty nice, just to kind of give you a heads up that, you're going to need to be taking a lot of vitamins, so start researching. They gave you a lot of information. They gave you information to take home, which is nice, so that you can read it on your own time. So that's basically what that 4 hours was for. Weighed in, had a physical, talked with the physician assistants, talked with the nutritionist, just kind of got the ball rolling on things. And then you also got your orders for the next step in this process. So then after that, you had to meet with your dietitian slash nutritionist. You had to go to 4 of these. And he or she has you document what you're currently eating. And they have you document what you're currently drinking. All your fluid intake, everything. They want to know what you're putting in your mouth. And between those 4 meetings, they're going over proteins. Protein. They're going over vitamins and minerals, and they're also going over hydration. So they really are trying to solidify it in your head that this is such a big change. You do not want to shock your body to the extent that it's going to cause harm to yourself. So they're really trying to prepare you for what you need. And then after that, you also have to meet with a psychologist, believe it or not. They want to, and everybody gets nervous about that, but it really wasn't a big deal. I mean, for me, it wasn't a big deal. It was a little awkward because I've never gone to talk to somebody like that, but they have several tests that they have you take, kind of just to see where you're at in the process and how you feel about it, and some of your family history, and they just kind of figure out if you're a right fit for the bariatric surgery. If you can't follow directions and if you have issues with harming yourself, you may not, get through the psychiatric portion of that. So they just want to make sure and double check that you're prepared for this drastic life change. So after you have your psych consultation, or during the time where you're getting your psych consultation, you also have those orders hanging around from your educational day. So you have time to get those done, the chest x-ray, the upper GI, and all the lab work. Like I said before, I work at a hospital, so I had all that done within 2 days. And the results went back up, and then soon as the psychologist wrote up his report and sent it in, after they have that combination of information, or results, I should say, they will schedule you for a multidisciplinary day, is what they call it. And this is where they go over all the medical tests that you had, the results, the findings, where they need to go from there. They decide a plan, and they work with you on whether or not you have to have additional tests, such as going to see a cardiologist to get things signed off, going to see a pulmonologist. If you have issues with some of your lab works or anything like that, any major health issues prior to the surgery, they're going to want you to go talk to additional specialists to make sure that you're cleared for surgery, because they want you to try to be the healthiest that you can be prior to going through with it. I didn't have to have any additional tests, which is really nice. I actually have my surgery date, as I said before in the last video. So at this little meeting, they basically just went over my results and said, yep, you're pretty good for surgery. And after that, they schedule you for a final pre-op. You could need a few extra exams or procedures, like another chest x-ray or another bout of labs, just because the time it takes for everybody to go through this process is different. You can do it in 8 weeks, or you can do it over the course of a year. So if you get your lab work done at the beginning of the year, chances are they're going to want you to take another set of labs to make sure that everything's in standing order. So that's why they kind of schedule this. And you also meet with a physician this day, if you haven't already met him or her. and they go over and finalize which procedure you're having done. They answer any final questions that you have. I actually have not had um, this little step. Sorry, I was at a loss for words for a second. I actually have not gone through this portion yet. This will be 2 weeks before my actual surgery date. So, yeah, you go through that, make sure everything's in standing order, and then you call it the day before your surgery and get your time. So, that's basically an outline of what you have to go through. Thanks for watching. There's the moth again. It's time to cut it out. Talk to you guys later.